Batula to Sunyanki, Namalaya Cataluna, Nijenga Trubunda, Megan, the Rokunja, Ranachisamba, Tonjaka, Dog, which and oh, Lazo, that there, Gumbo Chambere. And the Dodget Dodjangas, 1710 La Rabson, Dondam to Sebeche. Nedan Trova Shechewa, and then number Tamje Jenny, also on a sea cherry. 大康卡上希望那些亲如个娘连的，俺那家是吃就是么那么的，老二吃吧个西，他也把越讲，俺那他们家就讲了，俺那亲如个拿来多呢，那亲如个拿来多么的，他们吃干了，吃如拿来多的干了，然后那他，我都知道了对不对？多么，天天知道了点点呢，俺那天天知道呀，运这个，呀。
So now as Lord Maitreya has said in the ornament for the Mahayana, he has stated a verse which says that if you abbreviate all of the various practices of the Bodhisattva, the practices of the Bodhisattva are limitless. There's no limit to them. But if you abbreviate them, you can condense them into the 6 perfections. And among the 6 perfections, then there's the perfection of generosity and so forth. And these perfections, the practice of them, functions so that we can achieve high rebirth within the world and then the other goals as well.
현재 나바 제바 탐제바라 되네 친구가 좀 탑지 나바 탐제라 되베 친구가 좀 아니 나와서나 되베 친구가 좀 제가 다 좀 툭지지 마 송거하려 마 너희가 친구를 좀 해가 대나네 다 강가시면도 제 대나네 전이 주발라 되베 아니 가서래 친구가 좀데 다티 따라 원도라 되베 아니 좀데라 가져잖아. lon제탄이 필숨서와다. 코도 필숨서와 온되죠. 다도니 뭐 완전 맞죠다. 차와데라 치지 말로 보고 세대기 온도 주발라 되게 강에 세대요. 또 송거래. 온도 주지 다 같이 친구 공연라 공법에 강사대 땐 태양 안에 다 가생하면 나시 전이 차랍 유매 친구 공연에 땐 필숨서와 가지고 그여와 연장 龙去，我得了样，俺那看了龙节吧个戏，龙去皮什操啊，看个龙节呗，驴皮什操啊，看他娘都，俺那龙节吧个哭了皮什操啊，俺那转把他吐吧去，转把钱吐，看转把的钱把他吐吧，所以看了龙节堂里皮什操啊，他哭着皮什操啊，on多长，大对，我钱把洗我的天那样，你们个往的做还是四个话的。 이놈은 그 왕도 좀 많이 좋아지고 그래. 아니 차와 강한 잠바데 아니 타투바 지고 그래. 자니 온도라 되게 장에 도시 말에.
So then these practices of the 6 perfections are also referred to as the it's the discipline of the bodhisattva, or the it refers to like the vow of the bodhisattva, the vows of the bodhisattva, such that they restrain themselves by means of these practices. And these practices serve as the discipline that they practice in order to achieve their ultimate objective. And these disciplines of the bodhisattva are understood enumerated in various ways. There's enumeration of them in 6 terms, which includes also the discipline of understanding reality. But to start with the first of these, there's the discipline of generosity, which is here understood as the practice of Jimbe Pachin Changsumi Domba Yoruba Changsumi Domba
장수 돈바 쓰기마다
Singimare
나 오늘
라
돔스나
Domsena
돈바 쓰기 말다 계속 배배도 넣어서 좋아
네.
돔스나 안에 가려서나 돔나 치르고 나는 뒤와 인자 너무 세디리.
디리.
그러나
장준선배 동방말.
너무 자주서부터 말해. 배드는 잘. 자주서부터
I made a
말해.
mistake, a big mistake.
너무 저기나. 아니 자사지 제가 라와 차와들랑 빡도 매봐 여와래서나 다 됐다와도 너무 자오잖아. 아니 친구가 나를 뒤에 대라. 어디서 거를 말도 너무 말해.
So here I made a mistake in that translation section there. The word here, which I heard as like the restraint or as like the vow or discipline, is actually a different word, similar sound, which means the combination of them or the summation of them. The summation of the, if you comprise all of these bodhisattva practices into different categories. Now, in fact, the bodhisattva's practices are limitless. There's no limit to them, but one can subsume them under six categories. And the first of these is the practice of generosity. So this kind of practice of generosity, or all of the practices that are subsumed under the perfection of generosity, will enable one to achieve a life of high status. And that sort of high status life then will also equip you with wealth. You'll have all of the necessities of life, and not only just the minimal necessities, but substantial wealth and property. And this in turn will enable you to attract, and also by virtue of the merit of generosity, then you'll be able to attract an entourage or have people that are around you helping you and so forth, and you'll be able to benefit them by means of your wealth and so forth. 롱주땅, 코땅.
롱제 달류 피숨 차와다 코조 피숨 차와 온도 당세가라. 다디 롱제 칸라 롱제바 롱제 피숨 차와. 칸기 롱제바 류 피숨 차와. 아니 간단 현지도 롱제바게 아니 조 피숨 차와. 아니 강차와 강한자바데 타두바 세가 롱제 달류 피숨 차와다. 코조 피숨 차와 온도다. 我现在批准做我西藏电报机去那样，太咱们就没着吧。批准做我西藏电报机去那样，你要么别忘记做我去规划的，我的你们个忘记做我，忙着我去个当。是吧？
So then there are four things then that are required here. That is, you need to have wealth, or that is property, things that you utilize. And then you need to have a body which is excellent, that is healthy and so forth, and that is suitable for whatever kinds of activities that you're going to engage in. And then you also have to have associates, friends, and etc., acquaintances, or rather, friends and people that are helpful to you. And then, in addition to that, you have to have be able to commence in engaging in activities in a way which is excellent as well. So these four things need to be present. But simply having these four things in a human life, for example, is not adequate, because all of these things are liable to come under the domination of the mental afflictions. And if they become if you have these things and they're dominated by your own mental afflictions, then they will not become in any way whatsoever go towards the direction of the perfection of these sorts of excellences that are necessary for the bodhisattva. So rather, they have to be utilized in a way in which is not dominated by the mental afflictions.
또는 뒤 가서 간절해서나 아니 가서래 산제주 공부한 루바게 땡 피순 소바지 간 거와라 아니 다 원들이 된 차버지 고그래 원들이 된 잡아진 루바 대라양 진바다 추름다 서바 준지 3년 셔로 거와디 다디 relation 셔요 그래서
So then, in brief, what is being said here is that in order to achieve Buddhahood, you have to have an excellent life as a basis for for making that kind of progress to Buddhahood. So you have to have all of the prerequisites of a good life, or the necessities of a good life in place and in a good fashion as a basis for making that progress. And in order to have those, then those all arise out of generosity, out of ethical conduct, out of the practice of forbearance, out of development of meditative concentration, and the development of wisdom. All of these different, all 6 of the perfections can apply here to the development of this kind of excellent life, which is the basis for progressing towards Buddhahood.
나중에 논된 수야데 가르레에서나 된이 주발라 되대차 아니 장에 친구를 뒤야 돼 된이 주발라 되게 친구를 뒤단 가르레에서나 안 자주선비 자와대라 아니 란된다 현재 이유와 자주선비 자와대라 란된다 현재 이유바나 인발이나 내라 현재 주발라 아니 현대 그 현재 주발라 아니 최了전에 개와지 고고요래 인상 섬전 된라 랍주배 시간라 어텔라 아니 현재 주바 제발라 통마 짐바기 아니 짐바라 때네 현 구바를 채네 아니 신이 친구를 주가지고 고래 인상 섬전 된라 랍주 제 동도 미주 서바 채세가 담보 짐바 티 채나양 아니 심전라 내제당 제외 짐바 아니 지양 민주배 짐바 티 채나양 현라 네비 시탐제란 도비고는 짐바데 아니 현재 첨부 현라 네비 시전의 현재 첨부 될라 아니 주루 현라 네비 시탐제라 도바가 주준 거와
So then, so in brief, then, what is it that a bodhisattva is attempting to accomplish? The bodhisattva is striving to achieve 2 aims. His own aim as well as the aims of others, and well, really the aims of others is primary. The aims of others and his or her own aim. So the bodhisattva is striving for those 2 aims. In order to do that, then one of the initial practice is that of generosity. And when one performs generosity as a bodhisattva, one does it such that one has to do it not just in any fashion whatsoever, rather one has to do it such that it is beneficial to others. That is, the thing that you give to them has to be appropriate so that it doesn't harm the other sentient beings. The circumstances of the gift and the generosity or any kind of generosity have to be appropriate and fit for the others to receive them properly, such that they won't be harmed by the gift. And then likewise, because sentient beings are unruly and they're liable to harm oneself or to do things which are harmful to oneself, one has to have oneself disciplined by ethical conduct in the context as well of even in the context of performing generosity. You yourself have to be disciplined by ethical conduct, so as that if some kind of harm from other sentient beings arises while you're performing generosity, that you're not going to lose your equanimity and fall into mental affliction in that kind of circumstance. So therefore you have to have that in place as well.
Oh yeah. Denita sudim tabala ani shenjirala neba chevana nele miseba neba cheva dilenla ani jiglen nilen ba jawa cheva zhina len ba lo ba zhina ani sudim taba mijo ba inzang ani shenji neba tela ani 10몇 년 비 안에 동아 단내지 세바 공부하래.
세바.
세바. 고소해.
이
초등 다바 세바라. 초등 다바 야바 지용하라. 초등 남바 다바 지용하라. 현지랑라 내바 세바 테나. 아니 내바 세바데 미세바. 랑라 내바 세바데 그 렌파라야 내바 지글에 니렌 세나. 아니 주름 잡아 연구 말이.
So then, likewise, one has to have forbearance, because in this context of when one is involved in generosity or one is performing, practicing one's ethical conduct, then there are circumstances in which other sentient beings that you're interacting with will harm you or will do things which are harmful to you. And in that context, then, when they're harming you, if you don't have forbearance, that is, being able to endure the things when others are doing these kinds of harmful things to you, then your own ethical conduct will not be pure. You'll not be able to maintain pure ethical conduct.
주름 잡아 먼저 봐 인상 아니 현주 내가 제바 되라 쇠바기 너질래 10만년 아니 쇠바 공부하고 고래 에 심전 퇴라 라저배 동당 미주 쇠배 제 세디리
펜당
주름 잡아라 아니 된다지 가르 내내 전에 주름 잡아 연구 말이 뭐야 아니 가르에서나 현지 내봐 제바 되라 너질래 10만년 비서바 공부하고 그래
너질래 10만년 비
너질래 10만 서바 숨이와 동아 달라지 제바 쉐랑가 숨이 제바 너질래 10만년 비서바
너질래 10만년 비서바
너질 되라 너질 내봐 가르쳐내 되라 삼로 마당바 되라 내내 미셔바.
So then, this is referring here to the first kind. There are three types of forbearance. There's forbearance in which you are not, if you do not retaliate at all, or you're not affected. You don't think about the other person as being harmful to you in that way. That is, you don't consider them to be enemies and retaliate to them. This is the first of the three types of patience or forbearance. The second being able to endure hardship, and then the third is being able to have forbearance with respect to the nature of reality.
어제 되니 내내 마셔와디 수내바 채와라 팔년 마셔봐디 아니 현지 딕서봐 네바 첨부 써봐 크게와리 파내내 마셔봐 인상 파내내 전에 양조 되게 수라 내가 지금 예상 양 네바 첨부 좀 그와 인상 현지 딕서봐 크바당 어디내내 마셔봐라 때는 현지 딕서봐 크바 마세 아니 현지 양랑 그 내가 마셔봐라 dum바 배 가소래 유명계대 아니 라양 아니 지찬에 내가 메셔바기 아니 내가 메셔바기 아니 쳐라 되냐 계대기 아니 현재 첨부 용아.
Then not only that, it's not sufficient here for this forbearance to simply be preserving yourself from the attitude of wishing to retaliate against some harm that has befallen you from others. Rather, that alone is not sufficient. And then in addition to that, it's not sufficient to simply not retaliate against them, even if you're, so the attitude is one thing and not retaliating is another. You can't have the attitude of wishing to retaliate nor actually retaliate against the harm. But these two are not adequate here for forbearance to be perfection. Here, it's necessary that you have the ability, or you use whatever means available to you to cause the other person to not engage in the harmful activity. That is to make them do what you can to make them relinquish their harmful attitudes as well. And then to do what you can to pacify them and to make them then not only that, you try to get rid of, to do what you can to eliminate the motivation that they have. Even the basic motivation that they have to harm you. And in addition to that, on top of that, you need to try to change them so that they develop an interest in the Dharma.
아니 현대 주변 왕도 전에 아니 짐바 추좀 세바 체 섬전 된라 라자 동다 메주 세베 체 수좀 다지 된성아 수준 다 봤어야지 내단 저와写下와 세가나 아니 내단 저와 세가나 넘버 2인 대와 토바 체바라 내단 저와 세디 아니 신내당 삼대당 셰럽니 시고하래 와 아니 과소해 뉴바 탐제라 넘버 2와라 아니 셰럽 거와 셰럽 태양 아니 세미발라 이유이 아니 세미발라 이유에 무주바 현상 세미발라 마연바기 아니 삼대한 거봐 삼대지 아니 요라 냠바 샤데 세미 치료지 마연바 요라 마연바 아니 나도 줘야 돼 아니 삼대한 거체 내당 세미발라 내와데 삼대한 거체래 미발라 내외 간에 유라 소소도비 셰럽테기 아니 녀모바다 시지집이 리발라 초와치가디 셰럽게 체와 인자 초와 시가나 아니 란데 나바제 발라 때네 아니 대가소리 삼된다 셰럽니 체 콘도 셰버기 아니 현된 주바당 란데 남바니 보드 내단 초와 주바태양 联络见了没有吧？尊重当天把去国外演讲，安尼他我尊重前年讲了，我他听你主把他带来讲，安尼我拍起出的对吧？这算。
So then, thus, generosity and ethical conduct, as well as forbearance, the portion of that, these relate to one's ability to achieve the aims of others. In part, that is, they're directed in that way, as we've described. If you perform generosity in a way that does not harm others, and if you maintain your ethical conduct in that context, and you maintain forbearance while you're when others are attempting to harm you, and are able to change them out of their evil sort of attitudes and their harmful intentions into an interest in dharma, then all of that functions to those first three perfections function to enable one to help to accomplish the aims of others. Then, with respect to achieving the aims of oneself, there's a additional verse in the ornament for the Mahayana sutras where Lord Maitreya said that through abiding and liberation, one accomplishes one's own aim. And what this refers to here, the abiding refers to the development of a meditative concentration. And particularly the type of meditative concentration which is called shamatha, or stable abiding, abiding in a peaceful sort of fashion. And this refers to the single-pointed focus on whatever meditative object that you are attempting to meditate upon. In the context of developing the perfections in particular, this has to do with the ability to remain single-pointedly focused on emptiness, or the nature of reality. And then, in addition to that, one has to take, in the context of that meditative concentration, shamatha meditation, taking emptiness or reality as your object of focal point or object of meditation, and then using insight meditation to investigate and to scrutinize the emptiness, the nature of reality, so as to be able to develop eventually the direct realization of it, which is wisdom. And so this wisdom then is the second part of that, where it says abiding and becoming liberated. Liberation here again refers to by means of the wisdom that is insight into or that arises from insight into emptiness, the nature of reality. then that frees you from some portion of the obscuration, the mental afflictions, and the obscurations in general, obscurations that prevent. The obscurations that are mental afflictions, and then likewise the obscurations that prevent omniscience. So that wisdom is the instrument by which one achieves liberation. And these two together, meditative concentration and wisdom, then are the principal means by which you affect your own aims. So this last two of the six perfections is principally targeted, or it has a sort of primary orientation towards the achievement of one's own aims, whereas the first three have that kind of primary orientation towards the achievement of others, not exclusively, of course. But then the middle one there, effort, is something that applies to both, because if you don't use effort, then none of the first three, you won't be able to accomplish any of the first three perfections, and likewise you won't be able to accomplish the last two perfections of meditative concentration and wisdom. So effort, in effect, goes to all of the other five. It flows into or is necessary for the achievement of all of the other five as well.
Oh yeah, that didn't. 내단 좋아写와 란데 넘버 때 넘버 탐제 주 세대게 단 내단 좋아디 내 삼대단 셰럽 좋아 챤니 다 가산 뒤에 내 임바 삼대 제지 니 몸에 셰럽 되니 된 폼 인제 삼제 탐제라 인제 로지 로전이 다 삼대시 개와라 제주바 아소래 중거당 오라냥기 아니 니모 매바세가 염주 니몬제 니몬고 완도 마소마 된데라 어디래다 삼대 제지 니모 매 어레다 시험니 아니 군조된 바다 전단된 바 니당 아니 대신라 소바 그 전단라 배박이 아니 시험 어라 시험 시험 된된된라 배 인지 섬전 탐제라 다 가서 탑지 쳐봐 인지 첨보니 섬전라면에 동아당 자두지 인지 현대 로지바 현대 로지비 현대라 로지비 로지소 인지 대세 로지스나 시험 고고 와래 봐 지당 로지세요 다들 탑지 차라 제가나 되게 인지 섬제 탐제라 다 거지 인지 로지소서 탑다 시험 인보도 로지도 손에 탑시 로지비다 탑지 심바기 시험들을 자셔고 있지 그러 탑다 시험 아니 송도 제밤 로지바 비 아니 시험들아 어떻게 되잖니.
So then verse 37 then is where we had arrived at, and this says that meditative concentration is unafflicted one-pointedness. Wisdom is definitely ascertaining or determining the meaning of reality, or the truth's meaning is translated here. It could be meaning of reality. Loving kindness is a state of mind that savors only compassion for all sentient beings. That's a little bit off from the explanation here in the commentary. So here it says that, as we've said, then meditative concentration is single-pointed. That is, it remains focused on its object in a single-pointed fashion. And it's free of mental affliction or devoid of mental affliction. That means it's without the mental affliction of savoring or experiencing sinking and scattering. The sinking and scattering are the two primary obstacles to the development of single-pointed meditative concentration. But this also would include the other forms of mental affliction which are liable to arise and serve as interruptions or interruptions to the development of meditative concentration. Then wisdom is that which establishes the meaning of the two realities or the four realities and so forth. So the two realities meaning ultimate and phenomenal reality, and the four Arya realities, Four Noble Truths. So wisdom establishes those. And then it says great compassion. Great compassion is the so here, and then great compassion is the compassion which is the desire to have looking at all sentient beings. You observe sentient beings, and you think that you wish that they should be free from their sufferings. And then this is likewise what is called an intelligence which is homogenized with the aims of others. The intelligence here is usually a reference to wisdom, that is, wisdom understanding the nature of reality. And this intelligence, however, is homogenized with the aims of others, meaning that in this case, wisdom and method are fused together homogenized into a single blend, and or one could say that they are integrated. That is, the wisdom side of the path and the method side of the path are integrated together in that way.
Oh yeah, that tenderly, Jesus Trubode, and Yang be Chena Yang, and it Dan Tamba. Samba Chanju Kisim Yukune, Jimbala Jayagana, Dandamba, and Samba Chanju Kisim Yukune, Guna Lamba Chet, they Dan Tamba. And then over Tamba Jinjak over, and Kala Kanduki, and over Jimbade, and over Tamba Chet. And the Chidu Chava Jim Tamba de la, Semjan la, Naga Pembata, Tadun Deva Jimbade, and the Chidu Chava Jimbade Chet. 아니 탑 담바데 넘버 미도비 시험 대면나야 아니 돈이도 비셔 돈이도 비셔 지심바 대면나야 매와 이제 그 담이 돈이도 비셔 지심바 넘버 또 담바 그봐 넘버 담바 아니 뭐 담바 세야지 강 진배 계사 아니 최도 잡아 샘쟁도 안한바 양다바 조회 산재지 공부 토비지도 오와데 탐바체 아니 원나바 탐바 제야들이 년보다 시지지바 뽕위치도 뽕원다 아니 진바들라 남바 탐바 지간라 지소레레양 안나 탐바 주된도 냥술량거와 달라르는 남수동과 도시 야
탑 넘버 탑 담바 미토베
넘버 미도 봐서 돈이 무슨 또 비시러와 대마주 나 돈이 또 비시러 했습니다.
그러면 또 비시러.
대마야나 매와 이식 또 돈이 또 비시러 했습니다. 매와 이식
뭐 이식이
넘버 매니.
So here then is explained then each of these perfections become perfections by means of the special noble qualities that they have, this special noble qualities that they possess. And there are multiple aspects to the excellence of these perfections. That is, so first of all, the mind is excellent. In the case of each of the six perfections, the mind is excellent, and mind here is referring to bodhicitta. Chitta means mind, bodhi means awakening. So the mind that wishes to achieve Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, wishes to achieve awakening for the sake of all sentient beings. The awakening mind is bodhicitta. So that's excellent. Then in the case of generosity, that which you give has to be excellent as well.
땡 타바 오보 타바 서래 진짜 오
진짜기 뭐.
진짜 오 타바 강라 강도 공오
So then whatever one gives has to be of the most excellent kind, so that it's the thing here is excellent. Whatever one is giving has to be excellent. And then chetuchawa.
제도 자와 탐바서 내가서 팸 내가다 내가 팸바다 풀란 내가
So then, in terms of the so for the purpose or the way in which one is doing this action has to be excellent also, and in this case, it has to be excellent in terms of both when one is doing it. It has to have good results for sentient beings, good outcomes, both in the temporary, from the temporary point of view, as well as from the ultimate point of view, the final point of view. And then likewise, it has to have an excellent method. And here method is referring to the understanding of emptiness. Now, the best of these is the non-conceptual gnosis, which is a direct realization of emptiness. But if that's not present, then wisdom, which is has ascertainment of emptiness by means of investigative wisdom, or if that's not present, then a kind of admiration for emptiness, a sort of understanding of emptiness, which is based simply on admiration for it. And then the general character of this has to be excellent also. Then also the dedication has to be excellent because one has to dedicate any merit that arises from the activity towards for the benefit of all sentient beings, so that you will achieve perfect awakening for the sake of all sentient beings. And then it has to be excellent in terms of its purity. The excellence of the purity here is that it is done so as to get rid of either the mental afflictions, which are the obscurations, which are mental afflictions, or the obscurations which prevent omniscience.
Oh, yeah. Jimba Jimbi Dadu, Ani Tamba Tudendu Jimba Chavada. Ani Yan Jimba Jimbi Nega Lion, Jimbi Nega Lion, Ani Pachi Tudendu Yansulamba. Jimba Yansulamba Gala, Jimba Gi Jimba, Jimbi Tudim, Jimbi Seba, Jimbi Junji, Jimbi Samden, Ani Jimbi Sheriffs. Oh. Jimbi Jimba se gala kareresa Jimba Jimbi geza tang semjen la Jimba de ani Jimbi Jimba ache. 是吧? Ani Jimba Jimbi chena Jimba tangwa ma shenla Jimba Jimbi chena ani jiyu te la maguba lidanga ki maguwa pongwa. Maguwa pongwa tang. Ani Jimba Jimbi zo zo de chanju sembi Jimba la timen yi ki samba pongwa de Jimbi chuju inbare.
So then each of these perfections can be, you can take, say, generosity and say that there's a generosity of generosity. There's a generosity of ethical conduct, a generosity of patience, of forbearance, and so forth. So the case of generosity is, in terms of the perfections, is giving that which is appropriate to the sentient beings. So the first of these is generosity of generosity, which is where you take whatever roots of virtue that you've achieved from an act of generosity, and you give those to all of the sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that Jimbi Chudim so.
No,
oh, Jimbi Chudim la, Jimbi Kyangala, ani Jiyutela, ani Makuwa Ponghatang. So, ani Okasore, so. 아니 팀에 이식 삼바 짐바 데 아라니 집어 시대 전에 그 라니 집어 타바토베토도 팀에 이식 삼바 뽕아 집이 추림.
So then the second of these is the generosity of ethical conduct. And this refers to when one is engaged in generosity, then one should abandon any kind of the wrong attitude by which one does this. Here, this is principally referring especially to the to the aspiration of a lesser vehicle practitioner, which is wishing for one's own individual liberation. One has to perform the generosity in a way in which one is not wishing to achieve that kind of objective by means of it.
나 집이 아니 강한라 서봐 그 동아 탄에 서봐. 야 집이 바로 뭐 대기 아니 야 믿음이 내차와 주이나 대달라 내제람 아니 가서 미루비 서봐. 와
So then the generosity or of forbearance here, it refers to in when you're performing generosity. Then it's the case that there will be times when others will harm you, and instead of retaliating against them, you practice patience or forbearance as described above. And then there's the simple hardship of performing generosity. And so the ability to endure these hardships while you're engaged in generosity is this patience or the generosity of patience or forbearance.
야, 드니 짐발라 쪼비 준비 아니 준비.
Then
아니 짐바 집이 아니 가서래 니 팀에 이제 삼바다 만제바기 셈제지 바데라 아니 집이 삼대 아니 짐바당 짐배 코스 민바도 비셔럽대 아니 짐비 셔럽 제가라 아니 파지 레레라야 아니 주된도 냠술량 거 같아 두순 거 아니야.
So then the generosity of effort here refers to maintaining effort while you're engaged in generosity. The generosity of meditative concentration refers to maintaining a single-pointed focus, that kind of meditative concentration while one's involved in generosity. And then the generosity of wisdom is the ability to understand that the three spheres of generosity, you as agent, the object of the action, and the gift or whatever that you're involved in as such, all three of these are devoid of intrinsic existence or empty. That kind of having that understanding while you're engaged in generosity is a case of the generosity of wisdom, and you can do the same kind of analysis or connection between the different perfections with each of the six perfections.
야, 다 제수 주보 대기 아니 냠술람발라 때는 대우 가려 연구래 해서나 아니 진배 lon지 팀지지 서배 당대 준비 아니 준비지 세가라 아니 진바 당발라 때네 대우 lon지 푸수 소와요 해 샤소래 가서 되니 수림 중발라 때네 아니 팀지 아니 된로 제바 연장 그러와 운디 주니 수준 내셈매 소나시 전에 수준지 된지 대화당 진배 lon지 팀지 대 서바기 아니 당당 된바당 아니 코피순 소와라 소 연구하리 그러와 서바기 서배 당당 아니 진지지 아니 개외 세지단 된바당 그러와 서배 당대 진지지 아니 3대 기 세가나 3대 기기 남인당 아니 가서래 증거라서 와니와 시바 3대 기 증거라서 왜 남인라 다니모니와 시바 3대 기시 로이초 세가나 셰러기 아니 수바 코위 동아그라 초와 시바 셰러 돈이 도비 셰러기 코위 자와 당진 아니 수행충 관에 난这个现有수행충有关呢光白了 아니 코알라 초와 쳐봐오 인제와니 란된다 현재 니가 아니 니주 그냥한테 주바네 라션 통고 주바오.
So then the next verse explains the results of these practices, the individual results of the practices. This is verse 38. From generosity comes wealth, happiness from morality. From tolerance, here it's translated as tolerance, I'd say forbearance comes beauty, splendor from effort. From meditation, one is peaceful through understanding, or one could translate this as intellect, comes liberation. Compassion is what accomplishes all aims. So the first of these, generosity, produces all of the wealth or prosperity that one achieves within life. Ethical conduct produces the happiness of the higher realms. This is stated elsewhere as well, that basically all of the happiness that's experienced in the higher realms of existence comes about through the practice of ethical conduct. And then out of forbearance, one has a kind of personal radiance which enables you to be attractive to other people and to attract other people to you. And then out of effort, due to effort at virtue, one has a kind of splendor as well, a kind of splendor, an energetic splendor, one could say. And then out of meditative concentration, one pacifies the mental afflictions of sinking and scattering, or this refers also to just distraction in general, that is deviating from the meditative object that one is meditating upon, either through sinking or through scattering. That deviation from the meditative object is pacified. And then intellect liberates one from existence. Intellect here refers especially to the cognition of emptiness. That is the emptiness, which the understanding of emptiness, which is
인제와니 란다신지 통근 주바. 니지 저완 니심비.
로이 시팔레 조어체파.
로이 시발라 초와치 와서 로셰럽. 와 셰럽체. 3된 시시세 3된기 아니 남이나 중간야와를 시와체바. 아니 셰럽데 로이세야데 셰럽기 아니 스포코알라 초와체바.
So this intellect here, or this name for wisdom, is that which causes one to be liberated from existence, meaning that is, it's the agent, this knowledge is the agent which enables one to understand that the conceived object of the misapprehension of the self is non-existent, and by understanding the absence of the non-existence of that object, the fictitious object, which is conceived by the misapprehension of the self, then one is liberated from rebirth in samsara. And then compassion enables one to accomplish all of the aims of self and others.
dimbote다 말류바 다 투몽그 제부되나 지소 초당 저완인지 첨부 제외간에 dimbote기 투몽그 제부 가르래서나 dimbote다 말류바 직자 바로 침바이 세간라 연된 dimbote다 그 지소주다 인지 첨부대 연된 dimbote다 말류바 직자 랄람지 내가서 공부를 해봐라. 다 공부 재신. 아니 파도도 침바이 이제 쌈지 매자위 파도를 침바기 침바이 이제 쌈지 매자위 유 아니 가서래 지den지 공부 양다바 소베 산전이 터바 주그래. 다대다 지den 공부 니도 출 아니 여러분 파도를 침비 이세지양 치다와 신도 시바데 안에 삼지 메자위유 지대니 공부 양다고 저be 산제니 터봐주 그래.
The next verse says, through the simultaneous perfection of all these seven, one attains the object of inconceivable gnosis. It says wisdom here, but I'm translating that as gnosis. Lordship over the world. Okay. So here, these seven good qualities, the seven good qualities enumerated above, that is, the six perfections together with compassion. The compassion here is the seventh. If one habituates oneself to them on the occasion of the path of training, that is, while one is in the stage of the path of training, and one does them all of them together simultaneously, these seven qualities, and then by means of that, by means of these the perfection of them, nekapsu gompa cheshing parotu chimpa yi.
바로를 침바이. 바로를 침바이 이세 제자전에 되게 아니 산제기 이시기 시주대 아니 르 치다와신도 삼지 메자위유 아니 지den지 공부 양다바 저 산제니 터바주로.
So, okay. So by habituating yourself, conditioning yourself to these seven good qualities in their entirety and at the same time, while you are in the condition of the path or the state of the path of training, and by perfecting them, that is, by developing to the perfected form of them as described previously, then one will obtain the object the inconceivable object of which is gnosis. This gnosis is here the gnosis of a Buddha, which is an inconceivable object. And in that way, one will attain the Buddhahood, or true perfect Buddhahood, and be the protector of the world. Protector of the world.
Oh yeah, that thing. Oh, going the subject in another. The chance of watching. Never go you then. That's such a number. Chitemba said la. That's such a number. But such a number de la. And it's you to the Yalak to ni cheche. That you didn't de la. Woman and Jubi Java that the Jubarandre Nagaso. 산주생반 남지 사바메비 이게 세간라 사용 어디 된 거인 말이 와 산주생비 이게 다 연대 강강게 sem바 되라 이제라 소비 sem바니 세데레 아니 산주생비 이 사용 어디양 진짜 인지 잼바 인지 sem비 sem바 된 거다 도 생도와 산주생비 이게 이제라 소비 sem바니 찬남바 채와나 근데 나 사탐보 니와세 콜라 산주세비 이시 찍니라 콜라 남바 치디 잠바 사시비 민톱데 사이 민톱주당 민기 된다 시전이 요인 발다 두지 내가 고소
민기드나
아니 여기 산주센바 사바미비 이시세기 디기 아니 나한테만 된 것도 지랑 봐 민톱 산주서 넘버 시에체베 사시에체베 민톱데 연대지 내수 기회치로 시에비 사용 오당 연대 관계 심바당 사이 민톱주당 민den다 시 다도시 와자 다 담보마 용기도 비야 저가 잡아지.
So then here, the next topic is the presentation of the 10 stages or grounds of the Bodhisattva. This has a the general meaning of this, and then the meaning of the different parts. The general meaning is as it is explained in the auto commentary on the introduction to the Middle Way. where it says that the uncontaminated gnosis of the bodhisattvas, of a bodhisattva, which is governed by compassion, etc. If one subdivides it, it divides it into its parts. Then it's given the name of ground, or literally. And the reason for that is because it serves as a basis or foundation for the good qualities. So there's just one bodhisattva's uncontaminated gnosis, but it's subdivided into these different parts, different ways. And therefore, this statement here from the auto-commentary on the Madhyamaka Avatar, the introduction to the Middle Way, describes the nature, character, general character of the grounds or stages. I'm going to translate this as stages. And then which good quality these are governed by, and then how they obtain this name of ground or stage, and then the meaning of these names, these four things.
Oh yeah, 다 담보 가서 그래 자주 잡았는지 사밤이 이些세디 다 사인 어디 셔거래. 그러와 사밤이 이些세디 사밤 매바 세디 아니 간지를 쓰고 그래서나 질 사제사며 조다 망보 여변하네. 네 사밤 매바 세디 아니 당분이 이모전지 말을 받던 생당 다 공동한 좀 망보 셔기 아니 가사다 쳐라서와 라신지 주어지비 아니 좀봐 대라 이모전지 말을 봐 이모전지 말을 받던 생당 티 바자 가롱기 레바데 사제체 그러와 딜레바데 녀모 마리바 덴진단 딜 가자 가롱기 말레바 레바 대단 트비 이셰달라 사바미비 이셰 시고래 인자 여기 찬주선반는 사바미비 이셰 스틸.
So each of these subjects then is going to be explained in the next section. That is, what is the general character of these states or these stages or grounds of the bodhisattva, and that comes first, and then the other parts will follow. So first, regarding the general character of these grounds or stages, when we speak of something as being contaminated, this means that here it has the connotation of referring to the misapprehension of things as being real, which is a mentally afflicted form of ignorance, which possesses mental affliction, and or the propensities of that mentally afflicted form of ignorance, the misapprehension of things as being real. So any kind of something which is adulterated by either that misapprehension of things as being real itself or the propensities of that misapprehension of things as being real is what is called contaminated. And so a gnosis which is separate from that adulteration is non-contaminated, uncontaminated.
Oh yeah. 대인상 단다 딜라 사바메비 이셰스체니 녀모바당 티 바자 가룽기 말레비 셰바 대단 차비 셰바디라 사면 조거에기 셰제 아니 다와 잡에 측사가 가서 마리베라르다 차와다기 이셰 사바메비 유지랑신을 때는 마이노 세도 어디 순간 유지권에 메셔봐 이셰 코랑 아니 마리비라르다 차와 세가 마리비라르잖아 마리비 렌지 마리바다 티 파자다 차와 타기 아니 이제 사바메바 자그레 만도 유지 때문에 샤그 말에 된 말에
So where we say that this uncontaminated gnosis it's free from being adulterated by the misapprehension of things as being real and the propensities of that misapprehension of things as being real. The evidence for this statement that is what is meant by uncontaminated gnosis is given in the Clear Words commentary of Master Chandrakirti. And this is stated in the following quotation, where it says that that this non-contaminated gnosis is not posited from the point of view of the nature, which is the object of the non-contaminated gnosis. Non-contaminated gnosis here meaning that it's separated from the literally floaters of ignorance, that is these appearing objects that appear in that eye disease. When you have floaters, these things appear as if they're floating in front of your eyes. That kind of ignorance functions in the same way. So uncontaminated gnosis is free from those appearing objects, non-existent appearing objects that appear to ignorance. And however, it is not posited from the point of view of the nature, which is the object of that uncontaminated gnosis.
Oh yeah, that in it, 가서래. 된다이 말이 말려봤다. 말이 바자지 말려봐 이 차이니. 아니 가서래. 산제지 산 마도 봐도 말이 바자지 말려비 시와니. 산제기 산 마도 봐도 말이 바자지 말려비 시와되라. 아니 가르러 와서나 파반남지 냠샤남바 메도비 이시 민바 메라. sani oda sanje ke sa mato pa ke ani lobi negaso ani mari be kasore pachaji malabi shewa dela nyamsha ishe mato kasinga manga to kache chuana si nyamsha ishe mari nyamsha ishe de mari pachaji malabare o mari bada pacha니가 그 말이야 nyamsha namba mi 좀 ishe men member mela 다 로리 내가서 제도지 내가서 근데 양 시와 온도 주주되라 바자가 내바자도 끼그래 야
So that statement then from the Clear Words, and then with respect to that, it says, moreover, the explanation of this is that up until one obtains the level of Buddhahood, this is referring here to the path, the stages of the path, which are still the path of training, or the process of training oneself in the path. Up until one has achieved the Buddha stage, or the level of Buddhahood, then there is no outside. Let me start with that. Until one has achieved the stage of Buddhahood, there is no awareness which is not adulterated by the propensities of ignorance. That is, either there's a manifest form of this kind of ignorance, which is the misapprehension of things as being real, is either present, or at least the propensities themselves are affecting the awareness. And 말을 바치지 말라비 셰브니
말을 바자지 말라비 셰와니 파반남지 냠샤남며 미도비 이시 민바 메라 지가라 다 찬주세베 사 당보네 사 주위 파데라 말이 바자지 말라비 셰와데라 냠샤 이시마 마인바기 냠샤 이시데 말이 바자 말라바체 대 마인바 메
And so when it says there's no awareness which is not adulterated by the propensities of ignorance until one achieves the stage of Buddhahood, this means apart from the non-conceptual gnosis meditative equipoise of Aryas. So, for example, the Bodhisattvas, when they achieve meditative equipoise, non-conceptual gnosis on reality, on understanding emptiness, when they achieve the first bodhisattva stage, the path of seeing for bodhisattvas, then that non-conceptual gnosis is not adulterated by either the misapprehension of things as being real, or the propensities of that misapprehension of things as being real. However, for such persons who are still on the path of training, when they arise from that meditative equipoise, non-conceptual gnosis in the context of the meditative equipoise of an Arya, then during the post-meditative state, these awarenesses which are adulterated by the propensities arise again.
제도도 바자지 라바전도 제에서 준소해. 오야. 다한테는 사든비 파도니 뭔지 말을 빌려봐 요라. 나사탕 막이네 선지 심전라 사든바 마도죠 파도. 아니 찬주선발이나 사든바 마도지 파도니 뭔지 말을 봐 려봐 요세. 사제반에 뭔지 말을 봐 빵와래. 人之云在在班呢，人之帮完，人家你们这就马上把帮完他。安尼人让这就把你这讲，安尼你们这就马上把帮把人家在班呢当，这就把你了，安尼你们这就马上把设备提来把要马的，你们这就来把要马的。我听这看啥个觉得，马上被爬下去来不希望要的。
말을 바짝이 레베.
레베 시와 이와래. 오다 군조 남자 그 시와도 샤고래.
군조
다비 군조 그 남바 제지 시와 줘라 봐.
군조 그 남바 신기.
냠샤 남바 미도 비시 많이 바 시와도 줘라 봐. 어 든조 아니 바짝을 내 바짝 저 봐라 사제 봐도 괜찮아.
So then, so that's the case then that for persons who are on the path of training still, a stage of training, apart from those periods of meditative equipoise in which there's a non-conceptual gnosis, realizing reality, emptiness, then all of the awarenesses for beings are adulterated by the propensities of that ignorance, which is the misapprehension of things as being real. But so then, and likewise, that occurs even for the Aryas, and even for Arya Bodhisattvas, through the first 7 stages of the Bodhisattva, 10 stages of the Bodhisattva path. So up through the first 7 stages, during the post-meditative states, when they have arisen out of that single-pointed meditative absorption, non-conceptual gnosis, realizing emptiness, then in those post-meditative states, their awarenesses, all of their awareness is adulterated by the propensities of this ignorance. However, so up until through the first 7 bodhisattva stages, then their awareness is adulterated by this afflicted form of ignorance. That is, when they're not absorbed in meditative equipoise, that kind of non-dual gnosis, realizing emptiness. So their awareness is affected, adulterated by this ignorance, which is a mental affliction. However, once they achieve the 8th bhumi, or 8th stage or ground of the bodhisattva path, so that's with respect to bodhisattvas. And then, so when they achieve, bodhisattvas achieve that 8th stage, then they have gotten rid of all of the obscurations which are mental afflictions. So therefore, since this ignorance, which is the mental affliction, mental afflicted form of ignorance, that is the misapprehension of things as being real, is a mentally afflicted form of ignorance, that is completely eradicated when one achieves the 8th bodhisattva bhumi. And therefore, for those people, as well as for the two types of arhats, that is the arhat who has followed the Shravaka vehicle and the arhat who has followed the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, they, all of those have eradicated or extinguished that ignorance, and therefore their awarenesses, even in the post-meditative state, are not adulterated by ignorance as such. However, their awarenesses are still adulterated by the propensities of that ignorance.
Oh yeah, that didn't. New Mobatan tea paja karungi, malebi shewa tamji, ani or shewa imba tamji, ani kasore, samegi sheta, jotoguare. Samegi she jojang, jotujang. 대담지 안에 사시 민부터 봐. 사시 민토바라 저와 니지 첨벌라 니지 심비 심발지 고고와 이장. 니지를 소비 찬남바 쳐와 제가나 다 저와 니지 심비 신이 아니 어디 심비 아니 원 돈용 무슨 데 왜냐면 찬남바 미도 비시에라 사 와 민토고아리 와 니지 심비 심비 이제 집에 말씀 야란 주절이야. 아니 말을 받아 뒤에 가자 가랑 게 말아비 야샤나면 믿어비 신야란을 여와체. 야란을 여와체. 년도들 앉아를 여와체.
So then, turning to the second of these topics here, where it says that we've discussed then the general character of the stages or grounds of the bodhisattva. Now, these stages are, as said previously, that is, this non-conceptual gnosis, which realizes emptiness, is effectively the same thing throughout the different stages of the bodhisattva path. But the way in which these, and that is something that actually even the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddhas have, those Aryas who have achieved the path of seeing, and then including, of course, the Arhats who have followed the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha path. So what differentiates the different stages or levels or bhumis, grounds of the Bodhisattva path, is the way in which they are.
인지천보다 연장 계라 중이지 소지 니베 쓰바고 세대 40명 토해야 되라.
So the levels or bhumis here are differentiated then due to the fact that they of the different qualities, that is great compassion, as well as the 12 different stages, or that is the different quantities of good qualities that the bodhisattvas have achieved. That is on the first bhumi, first stage, they achieve 1,200 good qualities, etc., throughout the course of the different stages. So so the way that stages are differentiated is due to the way in which they are governed or are held by the good qualities. That is, on the they're differentiated, that is, as bodhisattva stages and bodhisattva levels or grounds by the fact that great compassion is present, and that they're held by or governed by the different good qualities that the bodhisattvas develop over the course of the different stages. The reason this is so is because, as we've said, the arhats, the aryas and the arhats of the Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha approach they also have that non-dual, non-conceptual gnosis, which realizes emptiness, but they do not, because they don't have great compassion and they don't produce the qualities that the bodhisattvas produce, then their levels of development are not designated as stages or grounds in the way they are for bodhisattvas.
Oh yeah, that didn't. Oh, 연대 관계 심바 가사의 민톱주 세가나 숨바 연대 진내섬 땡 쳐봐 연대 투미 시대 쳐봐 임바라 사시냐고래 그라 타냐 사시와 연대 투미 시대 쳐봐 말한디 사티기 사신 태바세 그 사티기 기진 아사 탐제 깨봐 그 아니 시쳐봐 나신 아니 여기 남중 오르집에 사태다가 아니 연대 탐제 집이 시대 쳐봐 주바 힘장 배배자니 연내 탐제지 내서 땡 셰브체바나 아니 가소래 사 시민토레티
So just as the earth is the foundation for the foundation for everything that exists upon it, similarly these earths or grounds are of the bodhisattva are the foundation or the basis. They function as the foundation or the basis for the good qualities that are developed through the course of the bodhisattva's progression through the 10 grounds or stages, levels.
아니 시월이 대다로 세가나다 민된데와 민된 연대투미 시대 쳐봐나 사 대제 다 되니 다사텔라 지당 매화집이 사당 아니 가서를 대답이 사서 이용거래 그러와 매화집이 사 생각인데 소조그 내가서 장순 소조그 내가 대라양 사세 매적 사 다 되니 대답이 사세야 돼 아니 사 당보네 아니 대 가서를 사 주의 받으셔야 된다면 저거를 셔야지
So now, in terms of these levels or stages or grounds, we differentiate between the levels or stages of a person who is practicing the bodhisattva path through what is called through admiration or interest in it. And this refers to a bodhisattva who's entered into the path of accumulation and the path of preparation, who is performing the activities in the context of those first two paths. And then those two of the 5 paths are distinguished from what are called the ultimate grounds or ultimate levels, ultimate stages when one has entered into the path of seeing and so forth and progressing through the 10 bodhisattva stages.
다지니 라가소 사소소 조준이 세가라 안에 사탐보를 사소소라 민 사탐보라도 가와 이와 처만 매봐 안에 숨바 여셔봐 시와 가서 여셔봐 시와 장 가와 어디니 가나 주방 온도 주와 어초와 여셔봐 안에 가서 아마 장 가와 주방 온도 주와 스타일 민들이 이래 이와다 마치 천 등급이지 말다 안에 민거를 주모같이 싫어 다 사탐보라도 가와 세대라 라가서 사주소 사소소 조주 되라 아니 개발 시의관에 조비 개발을 세 담보 연대지 장배위 개발 투포도 주위 개발 아니 가서래 파진 나주지 개발 아니 개발인주기 개발하자니 개발 시투선 방지 된 거다.
So then the different levels, different stages of the bodhisattva, of the 10 levels or stages of the bodhisattva path, are given different names, and these names will come as we go through them. But the first of these is called the joyous, and this is distinguished and presented from the point of view of 4 different portions of it. And then, so in terms of the good qualities that are produced on this first stage or first level, there are 12,000 good qualities. And then in the second of the stages, then one multiplies that 12,000 by 2, and then so on, and it's through the different stages, multiplying the good qualities as one goes up through the different stages of the Bodhisattva path.
Oh yeah, 다 담보 시고는 조박이 연단 톱주되라 사탐보라 연단 자자 주니 산니와라 연단 동자 주니소 연단지 장 권의 공도 폐위 켜봐 세대 나디 우만 주박이 아니 대위 내가라 아니 제제되는 산제 자통시 시스다 마통고를 다들 장가 잠모가지로 연단 자자 주니제 산니와라 연단 동자 주니지 연단지 장 권의 공도 폐다야 권의 공도 폐 답답이야 파기 와래 개발 담보티체 개발니와데 아니 가서를 투푸도 제외 치마사에가나 아니 사소소그 용종기 원소종이 치마종이 사탐보 용종 아니 사니 용종 세니 어느 치마종와기 또당 남주비 또 권에 공도 펴와들라 아니 사소소그 치마세와 치마종이 또당 남주비 또 권에 공도
So the first two of these distinguishing qualities, that is, how do we differentiate or distinguish the 10 levels? The first level, that is the joyous, as will come, has 1,200 good qualities. The second level has 12,000 good qualities. And it goes on like that, a sort of exponential increase as one progresses through the 10 levels. So that number of the good qualities increases, it becomes greater and greater in magnitude as one progresses through the 10 levels. And then the second distinguishing factor is that each of the individual levels or stages, it has a specific power to purify the bodhisattva of specific defilements. So it has that, and then there's likewise a specific force or power to be able to progress through the path, to progress through that path. And this, so each of the levels or grounds, stages has this higher, and as you achieve each of them, you obtain a higher and higher, more excellent ability and force to be able to progress further and further in the purification of the defilements and the progression over the specific paths.
Oh yeah, 다 제바 숨바데 파진 하소지 제바 세대. 그러와 질 준비 파진 아니 나지단 파진 생각되라. 아니 가서 네 바로도 침바서 제발라 자야. 바로 네 침바서 내려 자야. 바로도 치인서라 바로를 내봐 라 자도 가라 아니 로람 그냥 가서 내려잖아 로람 그냥 가서 바로도 침바 파지 매바체 네 바로도 침바 생각하라 제바 볼라 자디잖아 아니 로람 그냥 가서 파지 여와 다 오마 탄주 누라 네 바로도 집이 제바라 자디 가라 집이 파지 좀 매저 그냥 가라 여와래 그러와 매제 사람 조람 그냥 가서 요아래. 와 집에 파지. 다 되니 집에 파지 연나야 사탕보 톱도 아니 집에 파진 거냐면 첼라바 토바. 집에 파진 거냐면 첼라바 토바. 인자 사탕보 집에 파진 거냐면 첼라바 토바. 사니와 주는 거 파진 거냐면 첼라바 토바. 아니 사순바 시와 나와 주바 봐도 아니다 파진 주보래래래냐면 첼라바 토바체. 아니 개발 구와 주와 안긴다 파데라 되니 탑도 뭐람 이시지 바로를 치마 파지 아니 냐래 죽지 마자 거래 파지 줄라
조람을 파지.
도저 그냥 가서 기단 아니 파진 잠이 와래. 파진 와래. 단단 니 준비 파진 그 냠래 쳇라바데 사탕보나 더.
So now one could say that in general, the bodhisattva has these perfections, the perfection of generosity and so forth, as they are practicing the path of accumulation and the path of preparation. But it's not until one actually achieves the path of seeing and the first of the 10 bodhisattva stages that one actually achieves what is called a superior level of the perfections, or superior level of the perfections. So there's a distinction between the way in which the perfections are performed, both in terms of the agent who is performing them, as well as the action itself, and the perfection as a practice itself. Between how this is done when one is on the first two paths, the path of accumulation and preparation, in distinction from the way in which it occurs once one enters into the path of seeing and achieves the first bodhisattva level or stage, and then so on through the 6 perfections as one progresses through the 6 bodhisattva stages. And then in addition to that, when one reaches the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th bodhisattva stage, then there's additional qualities which are developed, or additional perfections which are developed. That is
그래서 사탕보네 주바 파도라 사탕보 집이 팔지 냠래 쳇라바 토바네 사 주바 셰르 파지 냠래 쳇라바 토바체 주체 사 둠바네 아니 이시가 탑지 바른 또 뭐람 이시 바로시 뭐 둠바 제바 구와 주와시라자
탑톱 물론 예시. So then when you enter the 8th bodhisattva bhumi, bodhisattva stage, then you develop the perfection of method, upaya, or skillful means. And then on the 9th, on the 7th, you develop the perfection of skillful means or method. And then on the 8th, you develop the perfection of power or ability. One could translate that. Then on the 9th, you develop the perfection of aspirational prayer. And then finally on the 10th, you develop the perfection of gnosis.
파진 나조지 제와데 쳇바디체 그러나 다 쳇바 시와데 사탕보 잠불리라 안와 니와 리시라 왕위 자와 제와서 잠불리라 왕위 제와다 리시라 왕위 자와 제와서 남미지 제와 관에 콘도 표위 쳇바 다두시 말에.
Then the fourth distinctive feature of the different stages is that on the first level, first bodhisattva stage or level, one has a sort of control over Jambudvipa, that is one of the continents of the world system. And then when you achieve the second bodhisattva stage or level, you have control over all 4 of the continents that make up the Earth's surface in a world system. And you're able to be born as a king that has that sort of control. In the first level or stage, you can be born as a king that has the control over the Jambudvipa alone, and then in the second, control over all 4 continents within the world system. Those kinds of results arise during the course of while one is in those stages, and this continues to increase. Your control over the world increases as one progresses through the 10 stages.
다더니 사태다단 제도다 제와라 제바 임배 냥샤 바시도 삼바 말에서 다 장바지 사 된다 사세데 아니 제도다 냥샤 니가 너나 가서래 창조 그 셈당 돈용 모습도 또 비셔럽지 신비 안에 창선 파박이 온도지라 안데 사 창박 사 스거래 와 돈이도 냥샤 집보를 많이 받체 창조 그 셈당 돈용 모습도 또 비셔럽지 신비 창선 파박이 남지라 안에 창박이 사 스거래
So these, when we speak of these levels or stages of the bodhisattva, that is, refers to that the non-conceptual, non-contaminated gnosis, and that has to be governed and sort of dominated by great compassion. So therefore, these things refer to, or these levels or stages refer to the levels or stages of a Arya Bodhisattva who has actualized that non-conceptual, non-contaminated gnosis, as well as having developed bodhicitta previously, and then having that great compassion, which is the governing principle of their activities when they're in that stage. So therefore, this is differentiates them.
제도다 냠샤 니가 요걸 와대 냠샤 혼나 지금 말했어. 그래서
So this we have to be able to then to understand how this applies not only to the states of meditative absorption, that when the bodhisattva is absorbed in that kind of non-conceptual, non-contaminated gnosis. Rather, it applies likewise to the post-meditative states when they are engaged in activities as well.
드니야 테네송데 테네 토브라 주바이 장주선바 셰셰단이 진내도 세가라 사탕보 토바 테네송데 테네 토브라 주바 세가네 아니 사데 퇴한담이 셈제라 차네 아니 퇴한담이 장주선제 그명 따야 되라 퇴한담이 장주선이 다 셈제 담보 셈제 니와 세야데 외den기 안에 사데라 돈이도 무슨도 된담 셈제 관해서 거래 된담 셈제 다 가서 아마 최소화 어저 돈이란 이나 누바키 안조이지 남레지 특정 지지 조이지 남레지라 된담 셈제 봐
된담스게 그래서
테네수데 테네 토바 주바이 장주선바 셰셰단이 진내도세 대한담비 참 장주게 셈 토바 되네 수운데 안에 대한담비 통계 그 가사들라 대한담비 장주셈바 안에 시그레 어 된디 셈제데 아 군저 장주게 셈 많이 받체 사 탐보세 대점 많이 받체 돈용 모습도 이시 연구 같체
지금 그래서 니랑 누베고네
니나 누베고네 조비 이나 누비 아니 조이지 남르지라
초 이기
이기 남르선 조심
이기
셈다 셈주니 요아와 스토스 조이심
조심 이기 남식이 So then to finish off this last section, it says that there are eight stages or levels for the Shravakas as well. However, these are not, or just as the way the eight Shravaka stages are subdivided, similarly the Bodhisattva's 10 stages are distinguished in that way, and then therefore each of the individual 10 stages or levels has its specific character, its specific qualities, and then there's a summation that indicates it. So in terms of the differentiation of the 10 stages here, the stages that we're speaking of here are not those of the Shravaka and so forth. A Shravaka, they have different stages, but because they do not have bodhicitta, they're not able to achieve any of the bodhisattva stages. The bodhisattva stages, and the ones that we're speaking of here in particular, are what are called the ultimate stages, ultimate grounds or levels of the bodhisattva. These ultimate grounds or levels are identified based upon the achievement of that non-conceptual, non-contaminated gnosis, which refers to here or this is actually another name for this is the ultimate bodhicitta, the generation of ultimate bodhicitta. The generation of ultimate bodhicitta again refers to that non-conceptual, non-contaminated gnosis, which is in the meditative equipoise that's focusing on reality or emptiness. And in the context of that cognition, then likewise emptiness is cognized by the cognition there in a way in which the dual appearance, that is emptiness as object and the appearance of the cognizing subject as subject, has disappeared. So the dual appearance has dissolved or disappeared such that emptiness and the cognizing subject are not differentiable within the experience of that cognition itself.
다 되네. 대체는 다 되네. 이와 양라 그저 다디 사이지 나바샤바의 천사와체. 그와 지된데 지된 나바샤바의 천사니. 다 양라기 된데라. 년대지 사제 여바다. 장주 선박의 사주 예와당. 사주 사수 주 소송어 연단의 제와 된도와 소예비 나네. 다 담보 사주 예와니 있어. 다 년대 그 사주 예와디 말해. 사주 예와처럼 년대 그 사주 예와티. 지단 년대 뒤발라 년대 산이 제셔봐. 대신 뒤바 첨발라 자주 선배 사주. 다 년대 그 뒤발라 아니 사제 멤버 사제 예 이거 아래. 그봐 멤버 사제. 멤버 사제의 컨디션에서나 아니 리지사 멤버 사제를 년대 뒤발라 리지사 세디 년대 매직 사진베 년대 매화집에 사세네 아니 년대 초람다 졸람데라 리지사
소조니까
소조니라 리지사.
So to finish that last section off, then the cognition that is cognizing emptiness in this non-dual fashion is the mental awareness. That is the yikinamprashepa, which is a primary mind. That is the mental awareness, not the sensory awarenesses. And so that's a point that I needed to put in the translation there. Then next comes auxiliary topics, or the meaning of the parts of it, and this has just as the Shravakas have 8 paths or 8 levels. So too do the bodhisattvas. The stages of the bodhisattvas are divided into 10 in the same way, and each of the 10 levels or stages has a specific character and good qualities associated with it. And then there's a summation of this discussion here. So the first of these is the differentiation or differentiation of the 10 stages or levels. This is given in verse 40, and if I can just as the 8 stages of the listener or Shravaka are discussed in the Shravaka vehicle, so too the 10 stages of the Bodhisattva are taught in the Mahayana. So the beginning of this is that the Shravaka levels, or the levels of the Hinayana, are referred to as the inferior levels. The first of these is called the level of the lineage, and this is this subsumes both the path of accumulation and the path of preparation out of the 5 paths that are followed by the Shravakas.
Oh yeah, 이렇게 사당하세. 다 개배사세 규슈슈바. 규슈슈바 개배사세가 얘는 마 잡이 개바데. 라좀 되네. 라좀 슈바. 치몬 되네. 치몬 슈바. 치몬 되네. 치몬 슈바. 규슈 되네. 규슈 슈바 세가나. 라좀에 마 참바기 개바데 인상. 아니 콜레 개배사.
So then what is called the 8th level refers to the person who's entering into the fruit of a stream winner out of the there are multiple levels of the Shravaka path in which what are called the enterers or those who are engaging into the practice, and then those who have achieved a result of that practice process of progressing through the paths. So this 8th level here, la gente que pesa so this is referring then to the first of these is referring to the person who is entering into the fruit of a stream winner. Que pesa la gyunshuk shukpa.
예바스 미드 따라와 당이 예바스에 된다 샤래 얘는 마치비 제바 타고도 자좀 되네 자좀 슈바 치몽 되네 치몽 슈바 치옹 되네 치옹 슈바 주슈 되네 주슈 슈바 슈바스에 대우 대단테 안에 톱지도 정가기 그래서고래 여기 된도
So these So this is called the 8th bhumi because for the 8th stage for the Shravakas, because one enumerates these in reverse order, that is, the number 1's level or stage in this enumeration would be the achievement of the fruit or result, which is arhatship. And then below that is entering into that or engaging in the practice, or in the meditation, which produces that kind of result. And then there's the result of the non-returner, the entering into that result, the result of the once returner entering into that result, the result of the stream winner and entering into that result. I think I missed something, didn't I?
하고서.
Gepa.
예바. 많이야.
Yeah.
얘는 뭐 장이 제바지.
So you start, when you're counting the 8 here, you start at the top as number 1 and go downwards, and then the 8th is actually the initial phase of developing this. It's the first part of this. We'll stop there for now.
네,